Hello, this is Gretchen Griffin, District Sales Manager with Avon, and we are here with our fourth session of the Leadership Bootcamp uh, series of sessions. We have two more to go after today, and I think today you are going to gain even some more great tips and strategies to help you with your Avon leadership business and your business in general. Today we have a few managers and a very special guest speaker with us today. So I'm Gretchen Griffin. I'm the District Sales Manager for District 2867 and District 7908, so I cover a little bit of West Virginia and Washington. And with us today we have Ms. Shana Mina. Shana, would you like to tell everyone hi?
Hi everyone, how are you? Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I am Shana Mena and I have District 5834 in Missouri and District 7900 in Washington. And we also have with us Janice Youngblood.
Hi, this is Janice Youngblood from District 2860. So happy to be with everybody today. I know we're going to kick up some dust with those boot campers. So what do we got going on now, Gretchen?
Well, we're going to have Christy Alley, another manager, joining us in just a moment. Cruzy had to bow out on us today, but Cruzy was so gracious to let us borrow one of her very impressive leaders from one of her districts. So we're going to hear from her in just a little bit. She's got some great, awesome ideas and tips to share with us, and I can't wait for you guys to hear them. I know you're going to love them. So we'll go ahead and get started with, let's see who our challengers were for the last Bootcamp challenge. We had several challenge winners. Let's see who we have. We have Miss Rhea Hastings from Shana's district achieving the third Bootcamp challenge. And just a reminder, the third challenge was one addition, which means that instead of a pending addition, they actually placed a $100 order and your 20 leads, and then we had an extra credit badge that you could earn by getting a new candidate, leadership candidate, not a pending candidate. Now the leadership candidate's first recruit had to place an order. So we do have one person that won the extra credit badge, and that is Renee Peterson from Kelly Travail's district. And some other Bootcamp Challenge achievers, we have Christy Grove from Angie Reckley's district, Samantha Long from Janice's district, and Jennifer Coulter from Kelly Travail's district, Sandy Holly and Christy Scruggs from my District 2867. And those were our achievers that we've had so far for the third Bootcamp Challenge. So congratulations all of our achievers. I mean, this is a great way for you to start building the good habits to keep your business growing. And I know just from reading over those names, I've seen some of the same achievers each time. So congratulations to everybody. So we went through the P and the A and the T for PATD, and today we're going to focus a little more on the D part of that. And you're going to see through all of it, the prospecting part of it stays. I mean, it's part of each one of those in the PATD. It's just a part of every aspect of this business. So don't forget that you always need to be prospecting and modeling that and mentoring your downline and your team to be prospecting as well, whether it's for new customers or for new team members. It just goes hand in hand, and I know you'll see that as you go back and watch all the recordings. You'll see that the prospecting part of it really is part of every aspect of the PATD. So what is the D portion in PATD? It's really all about development, and we focus that on leadership development and how, as a leader, do you work with somebody when they become a leadership candidate? Okay, so that's when the development trainings come in with Avon. And Avon has provided us with tremendous tools on your avon.com. I'll have to put a little perk in here for the AUL Academy, because now the AUL Academy is taking new candidates in every campaign. So a tremendous opportunity and training. I mean, the AUL Academy training that you get in they use the DSWA trainings as well, and it's just an amazing training opportunity, not only for your Avon business, but for your life in general. I mean, it helps you in so many aspects. So make sure that you talk to your team about getting into the AUL Academy and really taking advantage of that training that Avon offers. It's a tremendous opportunity. So when you have a new leadership candidate, what do you do with them? I mean, you just kind of say, okay, well, I'll do it all for you. Or do you kind of tell them what you know and then help them along the way to do that? You're going to hear, I really wish Cruzy could have been here today, but Cruzy is fantastic with setting those expectations. So today we want to talk a little bit more about how you can create independent leaders rather than codependent leaders and representatives. That's really what's going to bring you the exponential growth and the duplication that's really going to help you see your earnings really increase dramatically when you think about you doing the work of 100 people or having 100 people doing the work as a team. You can see the difference in how much it really increases your business. So if you think about you just selling to 100 customers, rather than you having 100 team members out there, each selling to 100 customers, then you can really get the big picture on what network marketing really is and what the multi-level opportunity really is with your Avon business. And it really is all about teaching people to do what you're already doing. Just like we talk about sharing the cookies at the dessert table, or sharing your favorite movie, or sharing your favorite restaurant. So really, to be as successful as you possibly can as a leader and a representative, you really want to be able to teach your team to do the same thing that you already know how to do, and you want to do it in a way where they can duplicate it and make sure that their team can do it as well. So duplication is definitely the key word that you're going to hear throughout today. So when you sit down with a new candidate on your team, we're going to walk you through what that might look like in just a few moments. Christy and Janice are really going to help us with that. But we want you to keep in mind that as you're talking to your new leaders and your new representatives, especially your new leaders, though, it's going to be important that you may know everything. You know, you may have been doing this so long that you have it memorized, but it's really important that when you're training new leaders, that they know where you're getting the information from, so that when they sit down with their leaders to teach their leaders, they can duplicate it. So try to think ahead and kind of put the big picture into your mind when you're really focusing on training your leaders, because the ultimate end goal is you want them to be able to do this on their own without you, so you can duplicate yourself enough times to where you're duplicating your income, basically. So each person that you can duplicate, you're basically duplicating your earnings and increasing your earnings. So the exponential growth, it comes from duplication. So make sure that when you're training them, that the tools that you're using or wherever you're getting the information from, they know where that comes from. And kind of think back to when you were new and you didn't know anything. So you need to help build their confidence by showing them where to find these tools, whether you use the PATD information that Avon already provides from you, or if you use your own tools that you created that you know works. Feel free to do that, but you want to make sure that you have that available for your team too, so that they can duplicate that as well. So another area that we hear from our leaders very often about is, you know, how do I know when, how much time to invest in them, or when to cut them loose? How do I know when they're ready to do this on their own? So one of the best ways to do this that I have seen done is really, you know, you train them and you observe them, or you train them, you let them watch you do it, or you can even go through a role play and teach them how to do it, and then you observe them doing it. By you observing them, it really just kind of gives them that extra little boost of confidence, you know, whereas if they miss something, or you know, maybe they're not comfortable doing it on their own, just by you being there, maybe even just for moral support for them, that boosts their confidence level just enough to where, hey, I can do this now. And it just is kind of a little baby step into watching you do it and then doing it on their own. So, you know, I found that observing them really does help build that confidence boost that they really need to say, okay, I think I can do this on my own now. And, the more they do it, the easier it gets. And the greatest thing is that our new representatives really don't know when we're forgetting something or if we say something wrong. It's okay. We're human. It's okay. So the observation part of that, I think, is really a key piece where, once you train them, let them watch you do it 1 or 2 times, and then you watch them do it 1 or 2 times. And then after that, they should be able to move on and do it on their own and teach their team how to do the same thing. And it really just keeps duplicating and duplicating all the way down your generations. And by doing that, you're teaching these new leaders how to do a proper appointment. You're teaching them how to build that list of names. You're teaching them how to get those new candidates out of that. And you're teaching them how to teach their team to sell. And, when you do that with your leaders and you know that they are doing the right things and the right habits, they teach their people, and they teach their people, and they teach their people, and that gives you a really firm foundation to your leadership business. So creating the right habits, the right expectations, you're going to hear all of that throughout today. So really, some of us get really nervous when we're doing something and we don't know how to do it. It could be technology or whatever it is. But sometimes when someone shows us, it builds our confidence, and we know they're there to support us if we have any questions. So, and I have to tell you, one of the best ways that I've learned over the years, the flow cards that Avon provides, and they have the upline guides. I mean, they have a guide for everything we need, really. And don't feel bad about letting your leaders keep those in front of them while they're learning. There's nothing wrong with that. I use the flow cards forever and ever. I still have them right here on my desk if I have to refer back to them. And it's just a great tool and a confidence builder for us that, if we forget something, we have something there we can look at. So, and once again, we want to remember that we're, by doing this and giving them the tools they need, we're creating independent leaders, which is really what you need on your team to be able to duplicate your earnings, so that you're not doing everything for them all the time. Because once you get 300 and 400 people on your team, it is impossible for you to do everything for them. So you really need to duplicate you so that they have their own little training sessions on their own. So if you haven't already taken the leadership trainings on Avon, you'll want to go do that. Spend a few hours a day, a few hours a week doing the leadership trainings on there. Self-development from other sources is always a great idea as well. I can't tell you, I probably read 3 books a day, and I'm just ADHD. So, and then we have family and even coworkers sharing things out of the books that they're reading that always help us. So self-development of any sort from any source is awesome, and will never hurt you. It will always help you grow. We're going to try to fit in lots and lots of tips and strategies that will really help you when you're trying to get your new leadership off the ground and kind of out of the nest type of thing. So as I said, Christy and Janice are really going to talk about a big piece of that. Shayna is going to go over some other little tips that will help you grow as well. And I just can't wait for you to hear from Mary. She's a senior executive unit leader, and right now we're going to go ahead and pass it on over to Miss Christy Alley, and her and Janice are going to share some ideas for you.
Thanks, Gretchen. Okay, so just to set this up, Janice and I, we're going to do a little role play. So I'm going to be you. I'm going to be the leader, and Janice will be my downline member. She's got 1 person on her team, and we're talking at our previously scheduled leadership development contact. So this is something that we've already set up to work with her on progressing in building her team. So I'm just going to, come into the room or come into the Google Hangout, whatever we're doing, and I'm just going to go ahead and start. So, hey, Janice, I'm so glad that we have taken this time to help you develop your leadership path. I noticed that your order was over 300, and your downline member's first order was $152, so congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm really working on it.
Well, I can definitely see that at this rate, with your sales growing, you're going to be a President's Club member.
Oh, yes. I'm shooting for President's Club, or maybe even higher.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how has your week been so far this past week as far as building on your team?
Oh, Christy, it's been really busy, and I haven't hardly had time to even work on my team. My son had a baseball game on Tuesday and Thursday, and my daughter, of course, had her gymnastics meet Wednesday. Then we had a family cookout and on the weekend. My babysitter was closed on Monday to top it off, so I had the kids at home. It was just crazy. I just didn't find any time.
Oh, that definitely sounds like a crazy week. I've had a few of those myself. Well, so what do you think? Let's do an exercise where we can help you to take a busy week and turn it into a sales building and a team building week. So what I want you to do is just check out the Get Fit Recruiting incentive flyer, the tracker that we talked about. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So let's think about, I don't know, let's just go to the cookout. So, you know, on the left-hand side of the sheet, it mentions, for some ideas of who to talk to, it mentions a relative. So what relative from the cookout can you think of that might need some extra income?
Well, let's see. Well, there's my cousin Susie. She just had her third baby, so she's always, you know, look, she could probably use some extra income.
Okay, great. Well, let's write Susie's name down on the #1 spot, and then we can just put a little check mark beside relative. And then let's go to a team member. So you mentioned your son's baseball team had a game twice, and I just want you to kind of think of the moms. Who comes to mind of the moms of the baseball team?
Oh boy. Well, my son's best friend's mom, she's going through a divorce, and her ex, or almost ex, isn't helping out at all right now, and I know how expensive it is with the travel for baseball and everything, so I think she could probably use some extra income at this time, and she works part-time only.
Good, good. Okay, well, let's write her down on the #2 spot, and then we'll just check mark team member since we've thought of one. You also mentioned your daughter's gymnastics, and mine does gymnastics too. They scare me to death. But anyway, at gymnastics, was there anybody there, maybe one of the coaches, that could use some extra income?
Oh my goodness. Oh, there's Cindy. Cindy was telling me last week that she loved coaching, but it was only 3 hours a day, so she's looking for something else. I can't believe I didn't think about her for Avon. Oh my gosh.
Well, let's put her down and then check off coach. And, you know, it's good that you mentioned that because I did that so many times as I was building my team. People would say something that would be right in front of me, but I just wasn't in the habit of relating it to Avon.
Yes.
So, okay. So we've got Cindy down and we checked off coach. Now, how about you said the babysitter was closed on Monday. Is there somebody at the babysitter?
I've already asked the babysitter, and she said no, but she's been buying from me, and she said there's one of the moms that want to book, and I need to get up to her, so.
Okay, good. Your sales are going to grow even more. That's good news. Well, you mentioned the mom. How about some of the moms that bring their kids there?
That's a great idea. Yes, I think there's 2 of them there. That would be great. There's Sherry and there's Lisa. Sherry's the one that asked Lisa for a book. Come to think of it, that's right. She's the one that wanted a brochure.
Okay, good. Well, let's put their names down in the #4 and #5 spot, and we can check mark off babysitter.
Okay.
And I know, Janice, I know you're such a go-getter. I know that you're going to complete this whole chart with the 12 new team members, but let's just kind of see what you would earn right now with the 5 that you have mentioned. So you see at the top, at #1, it says you get a $100 product bundle, which is awesome because I know you love our products.
Right.
And then you want to you want to go ahead and figure out how much you would get from the 4?
$40.
Right. That's awesome. Okay. So that's right. The total, if you total all 12 of them up with $100 qualified orders, that would be $385, and you could pay off that $300 doctor bill you told me you wanted to pay off when we first met.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That's right, because I could pay that off, and then I could start working on that $500 credit card next.
Yeah, I'm sure we could all pay off a few of those. Um, so, well, let's look some more into the extra income you can make. Let's just turn to the second page,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I'll show you how you could also, and this is your second page there.
The one that says fast track.
Fast track, that's right.
Okay.
So now I'll show you how you can also make $100 extra per campaign too.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, 100 per campaign. So here's just simple terms. I like it simple. You just need at least 200 in personal sales yourself. You need at least 3 people that place their order, and you need 1,000 in sales from you and at least the 3 team members, and you get the 100 each campaign that you do it.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I'm building my sales, so if I just had $500 in sales, and these first 5 did the 100, I could make this $100 plus that other 140, right?
That's right. You could do all that, and your sales do count up to 500. So that was a good number. I'm glad you mentioned that. So, and as you're building and going to this total of 12, it's just going to get easier and easier because, of course, 12 people can do more sales than 5 people. But also, as you see there, you see it says 150 and 200 on the chart that you can earn.
Yes,
So,
I did.
yeah, you can raise that number up of sales from 1,000 on up that chart and get 150 or 200 per campaign. So when do you want to make your first $100 bonus, Janice?
Right now. Oh my gosh. I think it's a little too late for campaign 12, but I want to go for it in campaign 13. I'm ready. Let's go for it.
Awesome. And so that's sort of the end of our little role play. But of course, at that point with Janice, I'm going to talk to Janice about the plan. I'm going to help her to finish filling out as many people as she can think of on her form, while we're talking. And then we can also, we want to remember that we can do call now. So we can definitely do a 3-way call with someone if that's comfortable for Janice. And show them how to talk to people. But you also want to give an example of some words to use. So when I would just probably give Janice an example, I'd probably say, so you said that Sherry at the babysitter wants a book. So what you might say to her is, Sherry, I brought that Avon brochure for you, and I'm looking for team members also. I really think you would be great. And then you can let Sherry just reply. If Sherry says yes, of course you set the appointment, and that's how you're going to coach her. If Sherry's unsure, then you could tell Sherry some words to use would be, I've brought 2 additional books. Why don't I give you those? You can show it around, take some orders, and if you decide that you want to join, you can turn the orders. If not, I'll take care of the orders, and I'll take care of those customers too on an ongoing basis. And then the third option, there's only 3 things that can happen. She could say no. And if she says no, then we already know she wanted a brochure. We just let her know, I'm going to be here for you, and my order is going in on Friday, so I'm going to check back with you. And I do want you to know that if you ever change your mind or have a question about joining, definitely ask me. So it's a win-win. If she takes the brochure and even gets 1 extra order, you've gained a customer. Of course, you've still got her as a customer even if she says no, so you're helping your leader to see the value in speaking about brochure and definitely turning every no into a customer. So that's kind of where we want to go with that. And I guess another thing that I would say to you, it's important to ask her, Janice, how many customers do you see in what we just talked about? Because I see gymnastics, I see baseball, I see the whole family at the cookout that maybe she doesn't see them all the time. So she can reach out to him. I see the whole babysitter network. I see a great person taking over maybe the babysitters and becoming a great salesperson and leader themselves. So you want to help your new leader to see those things so that when she comes across them, she recognizes them, and she definitely opens her mouth and talks about Avon. So I'll turn it back over to Shayna.
Thank you, Christy. That was some great tips, and I love that role play. You kept me engaged and intrigued the whole time. So I was really thrilled with that. I learned so much from you guys. Now I want to kind of take you on a journey. I'm gonna give you some other tips and tricks that we can use to help build on what Christy and Janice just spoke about. But first I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine a human body. And don't worry, this is going somewhere. So a human being needs one key element for survival, and that is food. Without food, we perish. Studies have shown that 5 small meals a day can provide adequate nourishment and stabilize your metabolism. Now, don't all run out and get your 5 small meals. Listen to me for a second. During consumption, so when you're taking in food, the body breaks down that food source and it delivers vital nutrients to the bones, to the organs, to the blood, to keep everything working in smooth motion. So we also know that different people require different types of food intake or calorie intake. For example, athletes will consume a lot more food than, say, the average person or even a small child. So just as we as human beings need food, so does your business. Your leadership business needs food. And in that form, food for your leadership business is your new representatives that you're out talking to and prospecting and talking about the Avon opportunity to. New representatives feed your business. Many of these representatives are going to act like the vitamins and the nutrients that the food provides us as human beings. They're going to stick to the bones of your business. They're going to help that business start to pump all of the great wonderfulness that it needs to be a well-oiled machine right on through. And then, of course, as we all know, not all representatives that you bring to contract do stick. That's considered, you know, that'll just fall off sort of as your waste source. But most of the time they do stick, and you have the great nutrient and vitamins going for your business. Helps you to grow. So just like each person's food consumption is different, so is your leadership business. Each one of you have a very unique and different business that takes unique things to run it. And you're all very unique in yourself. So what you do for your business might not necessarily be what your sister leadership representative does for her business. So depending on your dreams and your goals, you're going to need to feed your business with a greater amount of recruits. If you are deciding to grow a very large business and you have goals to make it to SEUL or EUL, if you choose to be where you want to be, whether you're content being a unit leader or a unit leader plus, then your feeding process is going to be a little different. Regardless, though, of the need of your business, you're going to need to consistently feed and grow your leadership business. Just as human beings, we can't go without food. Neither can your business. So that's why it is so important to consistently work your business on a daily basis and have what I call a pipeline filled of new representatives who are coming to help sustain the business that you're growing and to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve, at the same time helping someone else achieve their own goals. So you'll also need to teach, in addition to this, in addition to feeding your own business, you're also going to need to turn around and put a hand down and help to teach your downline members how to feed their business. Because remember, when their business grows, your business grows. So some great ways to help your downline learn how to feed their business is through opportunity meetings. We held an opportunity meeting a couple of evenings back, and we invited everyone. Those are great ways for you to teach your downline members how to educate others who want to come and enjoy the Avon opportunity. So take advantage when we put those out there. Learn from us, and then in turn, you can turn around and duplicate that, because it's all about duplication. Also, some other great ideas that will help to get you as well as your downline members out there and learning together are team events. Some representatives that I know, they hold cookouts in the park. Maybe on a Friday evening, you get your team members together, you invite their families, you invite the kids, so that way they're not missing out on that family time. You have a great little cookout, everyone brings a potluck dish, and then on a beautiful evening, there's tons of people in the park. Go around, hand out samples, hand out goodie bags, get the kids involved. These are some great ways that are going to help you to teach your downline members how to go out there and prospect and help to feed their pipeline, in addition to you helping to feed your pipeline. So Thank you for sitting through my anatomy lesson. But you know, sometimes I think it really does help to take that visual and for you to flow with it. And we have some other great ideas coming up, and I am so excited because Gretchen is going to introduce Mary Kaminska to us now. So I'm going to hand it over to Gretchen, and we are going to hear some other great tips.
Oh my goodness. I cannot wait for you guys to hear from Mary. I just have to thank Christy and Janice and Shayna for all the great tips that they did. And, you know, a lot of people feel uncomfortable role playing. I think as managers we do it so much that we don't mind anymore. But that was a really great idea of how to sit down and talk to a new leadership representative, and the importance of having them expand their list as well, because we're always expanding our network of people. And you know, just talking to them again about how to prospect with people, because that's something that they're going to need to do themselves and be able to show their team as well. And the opportunity meetings that Shayna shared, and it's just great tools that you're going to be using. And Mary is going to tell you about a tool that I know all of you are going to love, and what she does with her team that really works. So I hope I do you justice, Mary, because I've heard so much about you from Cruzy. But Cruzy sent me her introduction and shares that Mary has been with Avon 9 years. 3.5 of those, she's been a senior executive unit leader. She lives in Mesa, Arizona, with her husband Scott and her doggy kids, Duke and Duchess. I can't wait to see pictures of them. She's received the Spirit of Avon 2 times in 6 years with 2 different managers. She's earned the first 2012-2013 Recruiting Excellence Award. That's one of our newer awards. She earned the Meet Me in Las Vegas in 2013, where I believe she got a free private Bon Jovi concert just from Avon. Yeah. Also with Jamaica in 2012, a cruise to the Caribbean in 2009. Oh my goodness, that sounds wonderful. That was her first trip with Avon. And then she also won her PRP trips to Alaska and Hawaii. Wow, Mary, that sounds wonderful. So I cannot wait to hear from you. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Awesome, thank you. And you know, ladies, I just got to tell you that this is actually, talk about outside your comfort zone. This is my first video conference, so everyone out there, please have patience with me. And thank you again for the inspiration and the guidance to do this. And, you know, speaking about duplication, and this is really going to echo everything that you guys have just talked about. I love it. I love it. So what I want to do today is I want to introduce you to my new boss. Yes, I officially, as of March, have a new boss. What do you mean? What do you mean? You're your own business owner. What do you mean you have a new boss? Well, I'm going to tell you that what I found is that we, as women especially, we don't let our kids down, we don't let our husbands down, our friends down, our families down, etc. But we let ourselves down every day. How many times you say, I'm going to go to the gym, and you don't do it? I'm going to make that call to a friend. I don't do it. I'm going to get this new name and number. I'm going to go, I'm going to do this. And we don't do it all the time, right? So as awesome as it is to be your own boss, it sucks. Real talk, right? It just does. Who holds you accountable? You don't, you know, you work at McDonald's, you work at corporate America, you have a boss who you have to report to daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. Well, when you're your own boss, you don't have that. So you kind of have to figure out what it is. And I found that this was a huge missing link in my business, my team's business, and a lot of my sister, even seniors' business. It's been huge. So then, through my self-development, as was talked about earlier, did not realize until 2012 just how important personal development is. But thankfully I did, and I met a wonderful man, not personally, my goal someday, Darren Hardy. For those of you who were in Orlando in August, we got to see him. I had heard about him before. So to see him in Vegas, or in Orlando, and then I come back, I'm pumped, and he offers this insane productivity program, $900. Oh, I didn't have $900, but I didn't not have it either. So I took his insane productivity program, and through his ideas, which just like every other mentor, you take what works for you. Some things work in our business, some don't, let's be real, but you can all take what their ideas and make it your own. So with that said, he talks about cashing out every day. Remember, all of us, I think at one time have been a cashier in our lives. Just start with one, by the end of your shift, you have to balance out. And so cashing out daily and cashing out weekly. He calls it a weekly rhythm register. Well, Darren, that's awesome, but at the same token, how is that going to work for my Avon business? I don't get it. So I knew another team member of mine, Trisha Howard, struggled with the same thing. She works a full-time job, has 2 kids, still wants to do what she needs to do, but it wasn't working. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, I have this thing in my head. What do you think? Can you help me bring it to life? And she did. I also reached out to a family friend who has started 3 nonprofit organizations. And I said to her, here's what I have. Here's what I think we're missing. What do you think? She said, oh my gosh, this is going to change your business. You have no idea. So with all of that said, I now want to introduce you to my new boss, which Gretchen is going to graciously upload the document for you. And you'll see that I have it over here on my back table because, as was stated earlier, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, right? So do they have their document now?
It is now uploading to our Leadership Bootcamp group page.
Okay, perfect. So you guys will be able to do it. And while that's uploading, I kind of want to go over it with you. I'm showing you mine. So here's mine. You see highlights. You see all kinds of fun stuff on it, right? So first and foremost is your why. You have a why for why you do your business. And again, earlier I heard as a mentor, you need to refer back to what their why was. So it's really important. But even more so, why do you do what you do every week? Why do you get up to go to work if you work a corporate job? Why do you get up to take care of your kids? Why do you go take a friend? Why do you do what you do? So you have to know every week why. I'll share with you, mine this week is to finish the little things holding me back. And then I need a hands-free phone in my office. So that's where my focus is this week. So with that said, I need to plan, right? So my plan is what I intend to do. So I intend to how much my sales will be, X amount. Again, it's all personalized to me. Every one of you is going to be individualized to you. You fill in how much profit. You know, that's another big thing why people leave is they're not making money. So here's where you as their mentor, you're going to be able to help them with all of that. And then how many individuals are they going to have join their team, et cetera, et cetera. So they're planning. Now it's time for implementation because all implementation is putting your plan in motion. So you'll see that there are hardcore things on here. If you are serious about growing your Avon business, these are things that you have to do. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then you'll see there's 3 blank spots for personal. For example, I'll share with you, I struggle washing my face twice a day. It has been, since March, washing my face twice a day is on this tempo because I don't like waiting 3.5 minutes for the hot water to heat up. And I'm lazy. I'm just real. So I filled that in here. And then my June planner, I need to work on that. And then working in my office table, I've got paperwork needs to be done. Don't have that assistant yet. Still working on that. But so then what you do is you total each across. So how many new names and numbers this week are you going to get? How many follow-up are you going to get? Are you going to do, etc. And then you plan backwards. So if your goal is 15 new names and numbers, usually using the power of 3, you need to take 2 days off. You have to take 2 days off from this business. You will work this business 7 days a week, 25 hours a day, if you let it. You have to take 2 days off. So, and you'll see on mine that I've got X's, where my Sundays and Wednesdays, those are my days off. And I have X's, and they're instantly highlighted every Monday morning. I don't have to do those things on those days. Anyway. So there's a 25 for 130 program, and that is something else that our team has done and kind of grown with. So every customer, you offer them, how would you like $25 in free Avon? Here's all you got to do. Bring me $130 in sales. Obviously, the goal is for them to bring their friends and family's orders to you, but as long as it's $130, if it's theirs, I still give them $25 in sales. So there's your, 100 people. Instead of you doing 100 customers, you have those people doing them for you. right? Kind of simple, duplicatable process, as we've been talking about, okay? So, and then each night I highlight, and you'll see I've missed a few because I'm human. Oh, where'd I go? Oh, there you are. Okay. I've missed a few because I'm human. So as long as 70% of what I put on here gets done, then I consider that a good week. But each day I go in and I highlight what I've done at the end of every night. Then it's Sunday night, Monday morning. So I've seen what I haven't done, what I have done throughout the week. Now, oh, let me back up a minute. Sorry, guys. Personal development, right? Huge. We just talked about that. So on here, what book are you reading and what page are you on? Because I'll tell you that so many times as a mentor, I heard my team members say, oh, yeah, I'm reading. Okay, well, what chapter are you on? 1. Okay, next week, what chapter are you on? 1. So what are you learning? Nothing. Well, you're not reading. Of course you're not. So this is another goal you track, and you can see how long it takes you to get through a book. Because if you, and again, real talk, my books, if they're not on my Kindle, on my phone, if they're hardcover, they're in the bathroom. It's the only place I have free time and alone time, and I lock it in there. So, you know, you can get 2 to 3 pages read when you're sitting on the toilet. I'm just saying. You got to find what works for you, right? Just some ideas. Okay, then we talked about PATD earlier, so you all know what that means. So now, which one are you going to work on this week? Are you going to work on prospecting, appointing, training, or developing? And then what Avon University? What are you going to learn this week? Because again, it's about you and it's about your team. So Sunday night, Monday morning, now I'm going to total up everything I achieved, and then I'm going to come up with my net. So my net is going to tell me what I did or didn't do at a glance. Now I'm going to put a line, what was my success? What was my win this week? Did I make my weekly tempo? Did I, my why, maybe I didn't, but something else that needed to happen happened. So what was your successes and what were your challenges? Maybe what stopped you from meeting this up here? Because this is your focus. This is your boss. You're telling this piece of paper, this is what I'm going to do, okay? So then you flip over the other side, and then just as a side note, real talk, under here is also mine and my husband's budget. We write everything down, so it's all right here in front of us. Now on the back, you've got the list just like on the front. And one line. You put what you want in that line. If you met your goal, how'd you meet it? If you didn't, why didn't you? Again, you're going to start to see your own behaviors of why your business is either struggling or growing. And the story is all right here, right? So after you realize all of this, that week's over. You can't change it. You can't go back and talk to those 3 people you said you were going to talk to. So now we're going to replan. This week's over. Let's start a new week. So here's your new week. You're going to replan, identical to what's up top from earlier the week, and then comments. Whatever you want to put, whatever's on your mind. Because it's the choices you make or don't every minute of every day that get you closer to your goals. And for those of you who have teams, I do also have a focus, a tempo focus. So every person, me on down, simple, duplicatable process, fill this out. Then those who are on my team, which currently there's 3 of them, we go weekly through this, every 6 weeks, or every week for 6 weeks. Evaluate where they are. If they're good, then we go once a campaign. Then we're going to go to once a month, so that leaves them room to have people that they can do on their end. So in a nutshell, that is my new boss.
Mary, I'm so excited about that. It's so awesome, and I yeah, I know you saw us laughing while you were doing it. It's amazing. So I know everyone appreciates you sharing this. This is a wonderful tool, and so just to recap on the end of it there, you said you had a focus group with your team now. So are those people that you choose to be on that focus group, or how do you?
Well, they choose to. So, and again, what I learned through the IP program is you want to work with your top 20%. So those who are committed to growing their business, they're going to do a tempo, and again, it doesn't have to be a tempo, but when you're on the review with them, your numbers have to still be there. Numbers don't lie. It's black and white. We see it in the system, right? I mean, you all can say what you want to say, but we see in black and white. It doesn't lie. So those who are on this tempo with me weekly, they're the ones who get my attention weekly. And it's a 30-minute call, plain and simple, 30 minutes.
Awesome. I'm sure that just helps a lot of our leaders that are watching, understand I mean, this is a great tool even if you didn't have that focus group, but the accountability partner part of that is even more amazing. So.
And I'll share with you that one of my team members, Jody Freed, she's always been a rock star with sales. She's always been 700-800 since she's been doing this. Her sales consistently are over $1,000.
Wow.
Consistently. Plus she's growing her team. Plus she's doing. So again, when you allow this to be your boss, amazing things will happen in your business and in your personal life too, because there's those 3 personal places.
Absolutely. One of the things that I saw in here that I love is exercise. You have your reading and your journaling, personal development, even personal health, personal care, which a lot of us, as you said at the beginning of your talk, we forget about taking care of ourselves because we get so wrapped up in doing everything.
Well, we do, and one of the things that I use for my team as an analogy is you're like a bank account. So you can only make so many withdrawals before you have to make a deposit or your bank account's overdrawn. You're the same way. You pour out all day long, family, friends, team members, sister reps, sister managers, whatever it is. You have to make those deposits on you, or there's going to be no you to go around for all of those people.
Absolutely. Great way to put it, too. So, Mary, do you have a team site or a Facebook group that I know people are going to be asking a lot of questions about who Mary is?
Absolutely. I have a locked team page that's only for my team, the Desert Dreamers, but I am on Facebook, and I'm very active on Facebook. Because of this, I've also helped to realize my schedule, and so early mornings and late evenings are when I'm available, and love to connect with you on Facebook. I'd love to, again, this is going to be a game changer in all of our business. We can bring this company back to where it needs to be. Let's stop focusing on the problems that we can't control, and let's start doing things we have the power to control, us.
Absolutely, Mary. So it's Mary Kaminska, right? Did I say it right?
Kominska.
And you see her name at the bottom of the document that we just uploaded her weekly tempo. Her name is on the bottom of that as well, along with Tricia Howard. And Tricia's on your downline as well, right?
Yeah, she is my rock star that really helped to bring this together. She's been with Avon less than a year. And I went to her and said, and she was best new performer in the district. I did things different with her than I did with anyone else in my 9 years. It was a big learning thing that I've been through. But she was able to take the struggles that we talked about and bring this to life for me, because that's what we do in our business too. You always want to be around those who are smarter and better than you, so that you're always bettering yourself.
Absolutely. We learn every day. So thank you again. Amazing document. If you haven't swiped this off of the Bootcamp group, you might want to do it now, because as you heard, and take great tips from Mary, because she has everything she said is 100% proven successful tips. Just like she said, she has a locked group just for her team. Very important that you do that with your team as well. And it sounds like you're doing all the right things. You're setting the expectations for those that are really successful. I love what you said about the top 20%, because we get a lot of questions from leaders, where do I focus my time? How much time do I invest? And so that's a really important piece, too, that I'm sure many of them have found the answer with your help today.
I sure hope so. It's just my struggles to help everybody else.
It is. Okay, so we'll take, let me see if we have any, I don't see any questions coming through on the live Q&A yet. Let me double check one more time. None on the live Q&A, and I don't see any on the event page. Do you guys have any questions for Mary?
I do. Mary, you mentioned working with your leaders. We just talked about the role play and how to help a brand new leader keep developing. Do you use a tool like this with a brand new leader?
Absolutely. A brand new representative, plain and simple. Because you'll notice in the grid, there's nothing about leadership in there. It's only about names and numbers, follow-up, etc. So any representative can grow their business if they choose not to be in leadership. Jody, who I mentioned earlier, she said, hey, I noticed that up top you say how many individuals would join my team, but you don't have that down below. Because there are some people who are not going to choose to do leadership, and that's okay, but they can still follow the simple, duplicatable process. And again, it's only as good as you do it. If you want it to be successful, you have to do it. You have to live it. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this since March, and I've gone through a lot of struggles with it. How am I going to do this? And so this is about I mean, that's why I waited so long to release it, just to make sure that it made sense and it was simple, that anybody could use it in leadership or not. And with regards to your question on the role playing, one of the things that I have with the others is they can pick one topic that they want to learn from me, and we spend a half hour later in the week on role playing. But that's up to them to contact me and to get on my calendar to make that happen, because role playing is huge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely, and I love that, because you're keeping them. They're setting their own goals, so really they're just creating what the plan that they need to meet, and so you really take all of the guesswork out of it, and at the end of the week when they look at the numbers, like you said, the numbers don't lie. So most of us beat ourselves up enough, but when we look back at this and really just bringing that refocus in and replanning, and instead of just sitting there beating yourself up, okay, well, what can we do next week to bring that back into perspective and help us reach our goals. So I think that's a huge piece.
It's been a missing piece in my business and a lot of businesses for a very long time. So hopefully this will give people what they're needing to hold themselves accountable.
Absolutely. Janice or Shayna, do you have any questions for Mary?
I don't. I think it's a great tool. I personally love checklists, even though we do a lot. And Christy is the mayor of Google Drive, and she has, showed me so many great things to do. But I still have to print out my Google Drive checklist and check them off. So I think this is perfect. I think checklists are amazing, and I think that you hit the nail on the head with everything, because everyone's goals are different.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. I can't wait to hear the feedback once you guys start living in it. Because hearing it is one thing, living it is a whole other story. I'm just here to tell you.
Absolutely. I know when I was looking at it, the only thing I had was, what is the 25 for 130? So I was glad to hear the explanation of that. And that is huge. That is going to help so many of our new representatives get their incentives, and leaders get their bonuses as well.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. And the average order is 25, and most people want 25 and free, and it's all in how you present it, too.
Absolutely. I'm so appreciative. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you joining, and I know you're stepping out of your comfort zone as well.
Yes, thank you.
I can tell you're going to be national senior in no time with all the great skills and sharing that you're doing with your team. So
that's the plan by the end of the year.
Awesome. I can't wait to celebrate.
It's all right here.
Gretchen, I just want to say to Mary, thank you so much for sharing everything. And most of all, thank you for sharing with us and recognizing that we can all learn from each other. And just like you mentioned, that you even learn from your new people and the other people in your team. You've learned so much through using this. I think that's something that we all forget and we need to be reminded of. So thank you very much for reminding us of that.
You're welcome, Janice. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've wrapped it up for Mary. I don't see any questions coming in. I see a lot of comments. Loving the boss.
Good. Love it. Yep.
I'm sure we'll be seeing those for a while to come as people listen to the replay and everything as well. So once again. So. Yeah, it's an awesome tool. I think it's really going to, like you said, it's really going to change the way that we get results and keep ourselves accountable. So
it is, and thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it very much. So, okay, we're going to go over to Miss Christy Alley, and she's going to talk a little bit about what this next challenge is for our bootcamp contenders to receive some new badges. And let's see what we have for the next 2 weeks. I don't know, you might want to change it after hearing the boss, Christy.
We might need to. I wanted to say too one thing before we move on from Mary. The 25 for 130. I can also see this. No, it's not a try kit, of course, because this time they're getting their free $25. But it could definitely lead to lots of great quality recruits, because if they're collecting orders from friends, then obviously they would be, great at selling Avon. So, but either way, it's a win-win again, because you've at least got more sales. So I love that. I love it. So for the challenge this time, from this time until next time, the challenge is still 20 leads. So we need you to get 20 new leads, names and numbers in the next 2 weeks, and 1 new recruit to have their first $100 order. And then we're also going to have another extra credit, so very exciting, and that's going to be when you have 1 new leader whose very first recruit places their order. That's going to get you that extra credit badge. So really excited. We want you guys to keep pushing hard. You're doing a great job. We want to see everyone earn the 6 badges so that you can graduate. And I'll turn it back over to you, Gretchen.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I've been like a kid going to Disney, just waiting for Mary. Cruzy has shared so much about her, and I know I know you guys will be hitting replay on this and taking tons of notes from Mary and the tempo. And just really quick, when we talk about getting the 20 leads from leadership representatives, and this could even be your representatives that are selling. Talking to 20 people in 2 weeks, that's 10 people a week. That's less than 3 a day. So if you're using the power of 3, like you heard Mary talking about, and just even if you just look at this tempo, and you do take your 2 days off, so that's 5 days a week. So that's two new people a day. So that's not even the power of 3. So if you challenged yourself to do the power of 3, you'll meet that 20 no problem. So just some great tips, great ideas on how you can help your new leaders duplicate some great ideas, great tools, and great learnings from you. As far as, when you cut them off, like Mary said, she keeps them accountable. She lets them get on her calendar. Many of you know that we've done that with our leaders as well. But you really, it really is just about teaching them, kind of giving them the training wheels and kind of being there to support them while they do it, and then letting them do it on their own. Everyone is afraid to take that first step, just like we were afraid to take the first step when we were babies, or take that first bike ride by ourselves. There's always fear there, but just giving that little nudge, that little loving, caring nudge, you can do it type thing. And once they start doing it, they'll gain the confidence, and they'll gain the education and skills that they need to go ahead and do it on their own. So I have just a couple quotes to wind down. I mean, this is just a great session, and you're going to learn so much from it. So, I wrote down a whole list of quotes, and Mary covered so many of the points that I wanted to make. But the one thing that we haven't really talked about, Mary kind of covered it a little bit. She said you'll bring people on that really just don't want to do much, and that's okay. So part of being a good leader is knowing, and expecting that you're going to have people that are not as motivated as you are, or not, maybe they're not wanting to take the top seller or the new best performer. Maybe they just want to do a little, and that's okay. But you have to know where to focus your time. And most of us, you just like Mary said, you focus the biggest part of your time with that top 20%. So to be a good leader, you really need to understand that you're going to have people that really aren't interested in doing a whole lot. So just being able to identify that and plan accordingly, kind of thing. Committing to your prospecting numbers, as you heard Shana talk about, that's the one piece that you can really control. How many people that you talk to, that is completely up to you. So that's the one piece that you can control, and the more people that you talk to about your Avon business, the more people that you're going to have joining your team as a representative, or becoming a customer, or even giving you referrals. So commit to those prospecting numbers every week, and this weekly tempo that Mary has just provided us is, oh my gosh, it's just the perfect tool to help you do that and stay accountable to yourself. And if you're a representative with an upline or team members, this is a great thing that you can get your accountability partners for, even with your district manager if you want to share that with them as well. And then K-E-Y, keep educating yourself. I think that's been a familiar phrase throughout. And I just have to share one of my favorite, Teresa Ficara hooked me on Jim Rohn early into my adventures with Avon, and I still love him to this day. I can listen to him over and over again. But one of my favorite quotes of his says, if you do something long enough, a ratio will appear. What you lack in skills, you'll make up in numbers. So you don't have to be the best salesperson or the best prospector. Just do it enough, and you'll see your ratio. And as you do it, the more you do it, the better your ratio will get. So, one last tip for leadership is avoid doing anything you don't want your team doing. It's kind of like raising your kids. They don't. It's not do as I say, not as I do. They're going to do what you do. So I have to share a funny, because my EUL, we live in West Virginia, and my EUL, I won't say your name, Christy, okay? She shared on her team page a burning couch, because if you're into college sports, you know that our WVU team, for some reason, when we win, everyone in town burns their couch. So she put a flaming couch on her page, and she said, she explained that with WVU, we like to burn couches when we win. And she suggested that her team representatives burn their couch so that they'll get off of it. So it was just a comedy thing for her and her team. A little joke, because in West Virginia we have some pretty rough winters, and she was kind of telling everyone it was time to quit hibernating. So get out there, take advantage of the weather. Take advantage of all the things that are going on, and hit replay 100 times until you get all of Mary's tips off of here, because she covered everything from planning, business, time management, self-development, everything. I mean, it's so much valuable information. So our next session, I have to tell you, we have my EUL, Christy Scruggs, who will not be burning a couch on the session. She will be telling a little bit about we're going to talk more about titling, helping your team advance to achieve title. And then the last session after that, 2 weeks after that, will be our last session, and we're going to really go into a lot more training on downline manager. You're going to hear from some leaders that are going to share how they use their downline manager to help them keep their team intact and know who to talk to about what when. But for our next session, it's going to be 2 weeks from today on Thursday, June 11th at 2 p.m. And we have Christy Scruggs, and I believe we have one more leader that's going to be sharing tips on what works for them to help their team advance to title. Why do you want to advance to title? You can give yourself a raise anytime with Avon. And one of the best ways to do that is to advance your title, especially now that we have our advanced leadership coming up. So your homework, if you haven't already checked out the advanced leadership title changes that are coming up and the mentor bonuses, I encourage everyone right now to get to advanced unit leader so you can take advantage of those mentor bonuses and be in a good spot for when advanced leadership does hit. So we look forward to seeing you back here in 2 weeks. And Janice, Christy, Shayna just kind of whooped out, but she'll be back in real quick. So just pass it over to Christy to say some farewell goodbyes.
Thanks, Gretchen. I posted this on the Avon Leadership Bootcamp Facebook page. I just wanted to read just a little tiny bit of it for you. It goes so well with everything that we've talked about today. This is a book by Joyce Meyer about breaking bad habits and making good ones. She says, if you want to form a habit of being excellent, develop some kind of system to help you remember to press past the point of comfort. That system might be the boss. Yeah. It's easy to vacuum in the middle of the room. I know you guys would never do that. But to do an excellent job, you may have to get under the furniture and move a few things out of the way. Pressing into excellence won't be easy at first, but eventually it will become a habit. You won't be comfortable unless you do everything you do in the best possible way. So I love that, and the self-development, reading books like this are just so wonderful to help keep you moving in that right direction. You put that with the boss, and you're unstoppable. So I want to say bye, and I'll see everyone. I'll pass it to Janice.
Well, thank you, and I just can't say enough. What a great boot camp session, everybody. If we don't have people thinking today, it's just amazing, and they just get better and better each time. I want to remind everybody that when you do bring on new team members, they can definitely join us because all the sessions are taped, and they can go, help them to go back or let one of us know. We'll make sure they get them. We want everybody to take advantage of all the great sharing and everything that we've had throughout the whole boot camp. And I want to issue a little challenge between now and the next boot camp session in 2 weeks. Write us on the Facebook boot camp page, Leadership Boot Camp, and let us know if you're using the weekly tempo and if you have a new boss and how it's going. Absolutely. Thanks, everybody.
Shana, we're going to pass it over to you just to wind down with some final words and goodbyes.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying our sessions because we surely are. We love bringing them to you. And don't forget District 5834 and 7900. I'm doing a plug. We have our recruitathon going on today. So up until the end of today, take what you learned here and get out there, hit the streets, whether it's doing your everyday chores or errands or purposefully going out there and putting into practice what you just learned. So congratulations. I'm rooting for you all, and I'll look for your new team members to come through today. So have a great day, everyone.
Absolutely. I think every leadership representative out there should get out there right now while they're pumped. I mean, this is an amazing. Mary's sharing was just amazing. Christy and Janice's tips and Shana's, everyone's tips were just amazing. So we'll see you back here in 2 weeks, and I cannot wait to see what you do in these next 2 weeks. Good luck. I wish you the greatest success in your Avon business, and thank you again for joining.